This is not a professional video, and it's not a how-to in terms of actually a laying on of hands and replacing of parts. This is a decision tree video. I'm going to try to help you not make the same mistakes that I made diagnosing and fixing the problem on this refrigerator, which was no water coming out of the door dispenser. And the first thing I thought about was the filter. So I go in and check the filter. Replaced it anyway because I didn't know the history on the filter. But what you can do on the filter is actually push in and pull out and see if you got water. So there's water in there. So make sure you got water and the filter is not full. So the next thing I thought is, well, I've got an issue with the solenoid down here. So we've got our multiple solenoids, and what you do is you hit the button on the door dispenser, and you should hear a solenoid making noise, clicking and buzzing down here. And if you don't, then obviously you got a bad solenoid. But if you hear it clicking and buzzing, chances are the solenoid is okay. There is a remote possibility you could have a calcium buildup inside, which would block it, but that would lead to a diminishing amount of water coming out of the door dispenser. And another thing that you would check for is ice. Make sure you've got ice and the ice maker is functioning, which this one clearly is. So, starting to narrow down the possibilities on here. So this is how the water comes in. You got your your main line right here coming off of the underneath the sink, the tee off of underneath the sink. It comes into here. The water then goes in this brown line around here and goes up to the filter. And then from the filter, it comes back on this clear line right here and goes to the back of the solenoid. And from there, it is distributed to these two solenoids right here, which represent your ice maker and your water dispenser. And obviously the ice maker is this green one, because you can see this green one goes up to where the ice maker is. And the other one is yellow, and you can see it disappearing underneath the refrigerator. And that's going to your door, and you can confirm that by coming over here, opening it, taking off the grill on the bottom, opening up the door, and here is the yellow line connected to the door and going up to the door dispensing for the water. So obviously you got a yellow line coming in and you have a clear line going up there. For some reason, for aesthetics, they don't want the yellow line dispensing water, so you got a clear line right here coming out. Now then, what you can do is disconnect right here. You push this little tab in, push that in, and it's not easy. And I put a wrench on here, crescent wrench, and use that to push in there, and then you pull out your yellow line. And what you can do is then put a bowl underneath here and activate your door dispenser to see if water is getting to this point. You can do the same thing underneath here by removing these two screws, pulling this whole unit out, and then you can disconnect these terminals right here, and you could disconnect the one coming from the filter. You can start here as well. This is your water coming in. You can crack this a little bit, make sure the water is coming in from the underneath the sink. Pull this whole unit out and then disconnect the clear line, and obviously you turn your water off, and then let's see, no, you don't have to turn your water off because this solenoid controls it. So what you do is you remove this whole unit, pull it out, disconnect this clear line, and then you would activate, let's see, which one did you want to do? Then you would activate. Which one would you? I guess you could do either one. You could do water. Yes, you could do water or ice maker. No, you would do the water. You would do you'd activate the water, because that would then make water come into the solenoid. Well, let's see. That's part of the. Okay. No, you would. I would disconnect the. Well, that's the confusing part. Okay, so you can disconnect each of these and activate their particular solenoid and see if water is going to come out of this solenoid right here. And so what happened was we finally figured out that after I actually replaced it. This is a whole new unit, and nothing changed. We still had no water coming out of this stupid dispenser in the door. And so finally thought, well, what could be wrong with it? So I disconnected the line at the back and blew through it. Nothing happened. I disconnected this line right here and blew from here up, and nothing happened. And so I realized that the line between here and here was clogged, because this is just a piece of clear plastic tubing that goes from here, it loops in behind here and goes all through the door and then comes and connects right here. And this is a yellow piece of plastic tube that goes back and connects to the solenoid unit. Both of them are just hollow tubes, just a giant straw, and you should be able to blow air through them. And I could blow air, when I disconnected here, I could blow air from here back, but I couldn't blow any air from here up. And I'm trying to figure out what in the heck is clogging up in there. So got some wire like this and ran the wire up inside here, went in about 6 inches. Well, what the heck's going on? So go down here, run the wire up here, goes up here for about 3 feet and stops someplace in here. Finally figured out, had a frozen line in there. Come to find out that the owners had come in here and really dialed down the freezer to where it was like at 8, or dial it up to, so I dialed it down to 6. Anyway, that's how I diagnosed it, and we eventually opened the door, kept putting a hot hair dryer here, and took and tried to put water up in here with using hot water using a syringe. There's also a video on YouTube about getting a kit from Amazon where you stick a hose down inside here and then you inject hot water. And so we tried doing that, but you can't get anything. If you push too hard, this hose went up inside here. So the next thing I had to do was remove the screws down here, 3 screws holding this together, and of course this stupid thing at the bottom broke, or it actually came pre-broken. It just fell and it just crumbled. So remove the screws, and what you do is you lift up. This is held in place by clips here, clip here, clip, clip, clip. And it's like a hook goes into a slot, so you have to lift up on this thing and pull it out, and then you can access the this plastic hose back there. So got that hose out and started injecting hot water down it, and it took about 20 minutes, and eventually I could blow through here. Also, it took this wire and kept ramming it up in there, like trying to chip away at the ice. So 20 minutes, half an hour later, I could blow through it, put it all back together, and we have water coming out the dispenser. So that was what, if I had a video like this, I could have saved $50 for a filter and $60 for the solenoid unit. And all we had to do was just defrost the line, which was inside here and frozen. So, like I said, not a professional video. I hope I made enough sense where you can keep up with it, but it gives you an idea of the decision-making process, trying to figure out and isolate and diagnose what is going on with your refrigerator so that you don't end up just replacing parts like I did.